however you may be listening. Fox Sports Radio right here at FS1. 1 hour from now, Blazing 5 picks. Like them a lot. It is great to have you in on a Friday. Terry Bradshaw, Doug Flutie stops by today. Can't wait for that. That's in 30 minutes. Joy Taylor's joining me. How are you, Joy? Debate last night at all?
No debate. I'm grateful for that. I was working, so I enjoyed watching the Thursday night football game.
So did I. Actually, it's a weaker division, but that's life. We got some divisions are great.
It was a scrappy, fun game, though.
It was. Here's what's interesting. So Carson Wentz, once again, pulled out the game. You know I love Carson Wentz. And he pulled out the game, and this is all I hear. Well, he wasn't good until the end. That's actually how Tom Brady won 3 of his Super Bowls, being good at the end stuff. Russell Wilson, a couple weeks ago, played poorly. He was good on one drive of the game, the very last drive. And he beat Minnesota, and he was dubbed amazing. And I love Russell Wilson. Unbelievable. Carson Wentz struggles somewhat early with far less talent, does the same last night in the fourth quarter. He didn't play. He just doesn't play well until the end. The last drive by the Eagles totally encapsulates what the franchise in Philly is and what Wentz is. Let's look at it. First of all, punt return. Deshaun Jackson gets hurt. Well, of course Deshaun Jackson gets hurt. He's a Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver. So Carson Wentz will not have his most skilled wide receiver for the final drive. All right, he's gone. Later in the drive, Carson Wentz hits Richard Rodgers 2 times. Oh, the great Richard Rodgers, a third-string tight end, cut by Washington in September. That's his go-to guy. Yeah, this is go-to guy. This encapsulates what they are. Then, after this, they get down 1st and goal, and one of his teammates gets caught face masking, hurting Carson Wentz, and now he's got a 1st and goal at the 18-yard line. Like the percentage to score there, almost none, except he throws a perfect ball to a 5'6" running back, Boston Scott. And you're telling me he's not amazing? Why is every other quarterback in the league a hero when they win a game late? The leading 3 receivers last night for Philadelphia are Richard Rodgers, cut by Washington in September, Travis Fulgham, released by the Lions last year. Not a good team. The Lions are like, you're not good enough for us. 6th-round pick from Old Dominion. John Hightower, a rookie, a 5th-round rookie from Boise State. And Boston Scott, who was signed off the Saints practice squad 2 years ago. Now, Carson Wentz is not perfect. Holds on to the ball too long, trying to make the big play. And he does throw a lot of jump balls. He throws the ball up for grabs sometimes. A lot of them are caught. But it's amazing. I have watched this kid 4 to 5 to 6 times in the last 10 Eagle games carry a MASH unit. But I always hear that, well, he's not good until the end of the game. He holds the ball too long. It's interesting. Greg Cosell, 41 years NFL films, compared him to a former NFL player on our show.
And Wentz is an interesting player, and I like Carson Wentz, as I know you do. But Carson Wentz, even at his best, he's a certain kind of quarterback. He's not a true precision player. He's a playmaker type quarterback who can make big plays. He will always miss a few. That's the way he plays. I'm not going to compare him to Brett Favre, who's a Hall of Famer, but stylistically, that's what Carson Wentz really is. He's a big play type quarterback.
We loved Brett Favre. We loved Brett Favre. We brag about what Josh Allen could be as a big play. We loved Bradshaw. We love Big Ben. None are precision players. Even Patrick Mahomes is a big play quarterback. We love all of them, except Wentz, who is playing with guys from Old Dominion. He's not perfect, but he's a playmaker, and you've made up your mind. I see this with people in politics. You just make up your mind, and you're not budging. You did this with Andrew Luck, and you've done it with Carson Wentz. Just once, I'd like to see him win a game late, and people go, like Russell Wilson, that's amazing. But like politics, we've all made up our mind, right? Here's Carson after.
The same thing that I echo every game when we're down. Hey, just keep believing, just one play at a time, and the big play is going to hit. It's going to happen, and John had the big one on that first drive, and obviously Boston the second drive, and guys just keep believing and keep rallying together, and that's what it's going to take to win a lot of these ball games.
So let's talk about a game this weekend that has the potential to completely change our minds about a team. Now, most of us, we either like teams or don't. And then there's the Raiders. I mean, let's be honest about the Raiders. They've had one winning season in 18 years. Outside of people who love the Raiders, they've been a joke for 18 years. They had 1 year where Derek Carr won 9 last possession games. They got to the playoffs. He got hurt and they got rolled. They have been a joke for 18 years. They had the worst stadium deal. They had an old owner that was out of touch. They drafted poorly. I mean, around NFL circles, I knew people like reporters, respected reporters, didn't want to go public with it, but they would tell me, like, I don't even cover the Raiders. Like, they just don't know what they're doing. And they didn't say that about Detroit or Cincinnati or Cleveland. They would say, like, the Raiders are not even, they don't even count as an NFL team. They were a mess. We haven't taken them seriously for 18 years. But this weekend and this year, they beat Breeze and the Saints already. They beat Mahomes and the Chiefs already. If they beat Brady and the Bucks already, we're going to have to take them seriously. They got a cool new stadium, an iconic coach, a ton of offensive weapons, and a GM that appears, former TV guy, to know what he's doing. It really comes down to this with the Raiders. Do you like Derek Carr? I do, always have. Pro Football Focus came out yesterday. It rated every single NFL quarterback. All things, all stats, all plays. He was 12th. What have I said on this show? Joy is my witness. Derek Carr, to me, is the 12th best quarterback in the NFL. I do these lists from time to time, and that's what he is. For the record, I went and looked it up this morning. Derek Carr, since the start of last season, that's with John Gruden, 32 touchdowns, 9 picks, 71% completion percentage, and 105 quarterback rating. I'm in. I don't think he's Rodgers or Russell. I don't think he's Mahomes or Lamar. I don't think he's quite Big Ben. But he's a top 12 quarterback. And we're going to have to, for the first time in 18 years, take the goofy Raiders. I grew up, you had to take the Raiders seriously. They were a top 3 NFL franchise. They actually remind me a little of the Warriors. When I was a kid growing up, the Warriors were always great. And then they went into a 20, 25-year abyss. Now they're a great franchise. New owner, new people running it. The Raiders, if they win this weekend, will have beaten Breeze and Peyton, Andy Reid and Mahomes, Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, and here's John Gruden. Well, he was going to be here, but he's busy preparing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Raider Nation gets very feisty because Raider Nation believes everybody's out to bury them, sort of like Cleveland Brown Nation. Everybody's a nation. The media is not picking on anybody. Either you're competent or you're not. And there's been about 7 teams that haven't been very competent for the last 20 years. The Raiders are one, and I think there's a chance. Remember, Raiders off a bye, Buccaneers just came off a huge win over Green Bay. Natural letdown. Keep your eye on the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of things. So I made predictions. You know, Labor Day was the last chance I could change them on playoff teams, AFC, NFC. We'll check in. I've got 1 massive miss, 2 potential misses. That's coming up. But first, I think it's official. I think the New York Giants are out of the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes despite losing last night. That's coming up. Terry Bradshaw later, Doug Flutie this hour. What do you get when you cross a Mercedes-Benz SUV with a race car? How about when you combine the sleek shapeliness of a coupe with the raw power of F1 engineering? You get chills, you get goosebumps, you get an engine roar you can feel in your gut. You get Mercedes AMG. The legendary perfection of Mercedes cars, trucks fused with the motorsport genius of the world's #1 F1 racing team. You love the quintessential Mercedes-ness of a sedan. If you cherish the cool curviness of a coupe, you love the rock-solid ruggedness of one of their SUVs. 3 little letters on the trunk lid and the power of several hundred horses under the hood. Elevate that passion. OMG to AMG. Check out their website. It is sleek. No other way to express it. Go to MBUSA.com/AMG. Mercedes AMG. Driving performance.